Wind up, Jason! Your work isn't finished!
This is a one-time gig. When it's done, we're done.
Let's dance, asshole!
What is up, guys? This is DropThisBox, and I hope all of you guys are having a fantastic day today. And also, happy Halloween, guys. Today is Halloween, so I hope all of you guys are having a great Halloween. Hopefully, you guys are getting all the goodies you want so you can be munching on your candy throughout the night. But today, I wanted to make a video on a movie that feels right to talk about today. And it should be no surprise that a video like this was going to be coming on the channel eventually. But today I wanted to talk about the 1978 classic Halloween. I've already made a video in the past talking about my personal journey with Halloween, so if you guys want to check out that video, be sure to do so. I'll be sure to leave the little link to it so you guys can click on it, or I'll just leave it in the description below so it's easier for you guys to click on that just in case you want to watch that video. But yeah, I pretty much want to talk about the 1978 classic Halloween, because I have a lot of thoughts on this film when it comes to Michael Myers himself, when it comes to Laurie Strode, when it comes to John Carpenter's direction of the film, basically topics like that, for example, I want to talk about when it comes to this film, so we can do a fun little analysis like I usually like doing in a lot of my videos when it comes to this film. So if you guys have any thoughts of your own when it comes to Halloween, like when it comes to this specific movie of Halloween that you guys want to share with me, be sure to let me know down below, because I do plan on covering all of the Halloween movies, giving my own personal thoughts on it. So this is only the first one in the series when it comes to us fully diving into the Halloween franchise when it comes to the films. So be sure to look forward to all of that content in the future. But without wasting any more time, let's get straight into this video by talking about Michael Myers. So Michael Myers, or the Shape as he's often called, is one of horror's most chilling antagonists, because right from the opening scene, where we see him as a child committing his first murder, Michael is presented as a blank slate, a character with no explanation, no emotion, and no remorse. Because unlike other villains driven by revenge or even pure malice, Michael embodies a sort of emotionless evil. He wears a plain white mask that gives nothing away, making him feel more like an unstoppable force than a person. And what makes Michael Myers so terrifying to me is this lack of humanity. He doesn't run, he doesn't talk, or even make a sound. He just follows, always lurking in the shadows or standing still, watching. And his silence and stillness allow us as viewers to project our own fears onto him. In many ways, he represents the unknown lurking in the dark. And watching him move throughout Halloween with a quiet, terrifying presence, we sense that he's not here to scare his victims, he's here to simply destroy them. And the way that Michael stalks Laurie Strode and her friends adds a sense of doom that creeps up on you throughout the film. He appears and disappears without warning, watching them from across the street or hiding behind trees, a dark figure in broad daylight. And when he finally does strike, it feels inevitable. It's this relentlessness combined with his lack of a clear motive that makes him so unsettling. The mystery around him leaves us with more questions than answers, which adds to his chilling presence. And to me, Michael Myers' horror boiled down to its purest form. He's the shadow we all fear to find waiting for us, a figure that lurks just beyond reach. And in Halloween, he's a symbol of unstoppable dread, proving that the scariest monsters are the ones we can't understand or reason with. And Laurie Strode, played by Jamie Lee Curtis, stands out as one of the most iconic final girls in horror history, and it's easy to see why. She's not a trained fighter or somebody with any hidden strength. She's a regular teenager caught in a nightmarish situation. Yet Laurie is resourceful, brave, and determined to survive, making her relatable and easy to root for. She shows real fear and she's understandably terrified, but she doesn't let that fear paralyze her. And what I love about Laurie is how her strength isn't obvious from the start, but grows as the story unfolds, because she starts as a responsible babysitter and a good friend, and when she realizes the danger, her instincts kick in. She fights back with whatever she can find when it comes to things like knitting needles, coat hangers, anything pretty much at her disposal. Laurie's reactions feel authentic, like she's figuring things out as she goes, which makes her resilience even more admirable. Another key thing about Laurie is that she's cautious and observant, noticing Michael stalking her before anyone else. There's a sense that she's more in tune with her surroundings, which adds to her believability. She's not fearless, but she's grounded, and that makes her survival seem both realistic and thrilling. Unlike other horror characters who might make questionable choices, Laurie stays sharp and does everything she can to protect herself and the kids she's babysitting. Laurie Strode is a character I respect because she's both vulnerable and strong, and she represents survival and resilience without needing to be superhuman, showing that courage is about fighting through fear. And in Halloween, she stands out as a reminder that even ordinary people can find extraordinary strength when they truly need it the most. And talking about John Carpenter, his direction in Halloween creates a suspenseful, almost claustrophobic atmosphere that is just as crucial to the film as Michael Myers is himself. Carpenter uses long, steady shots that builds tension by letting the fear creep in slowly. Instead of filling the screen with action or scares, he lets the camera linger on empty streets, darkened rooms, and of course, Michael watching from afar. These moments make you feel like Michael could be hiding anywhere, adding an uneasiness that sticks with you. And one of the things I admire most is how Carpenter uses the suburban setting to amplify the horror. This isn't a haunted house or some gothic castle, it's an ordinary neighborhood with neat lawns and quiet streets. And by setting his story here, Carpenter brings horror into a place that it's supposed to be safe, making it feel like danger could be lurking just around the corner. It's subtle but effective, especially when Michael appears briefly in the background, giving you just a glimpse before disappearing again. And Carpenter also keeps the violence in Halloween surprisingly restrained. There's very little blood or gore, which I think works to the film's advantage. Instead, he lets the horror come from anticipation. You know Michael is coming, but you just don't know when or how. And this choice makes the film feel timeless because it doesn't rely on shock value. Instead, Carpenter's careful pacing in the way he lets moments breathe creates a tension that's far more unsettling. And what makes Halloween a masterclass in horror to me is Carpenter's use of restraint. His direction focuses on the fear of what might happen rather than showing too much, leaving viewers on edge the entire time. It's a reminder that sometimes less is more, and that true horror doesn't need to be loud or graphic, it just needs to feel real. And don't get me started on this because the music in Halloween is just truly iconic, and I honestly can't imagine a film without it. John Carpenter composed the score himself, creating a simple piano melody that's somehow both eerie and unforgettable. The repetitive nature of music reflects Michael's relentless presence, adding to the atmosphere of dread that the film builds up so effectively. It's minimal, but it sticks with you long after the movie ends. And what I love about this score is how it keeps you on edge. The main theme is fast and intense, almost like a heartbeat speeding up, which amplifies the suspense because every time it plays, you know something bad is about to happen, but it's also oddly hypnotic. It feels like the music is drawing you into the film's world and it doesn't let go. Even though it's just a few notes, it's those notes that add a haunting rhythm to the story, making you feel Michael's presence even when he's not on screen. And the contrast between the music and moments of silence also works wonders. Carpenter knows when to pull back and let the quiet do the talking. These silent moments are just as powerful because they build the tension even more, making the music's return all the more impactful. It's a balance that makes each note feel like a warning and that danger is just around the corner. The score is a perfect example of how music can elevate a film. The Halloween theme isn't just background noise, it's a central part of the experience. It turns a simple horror story into something that feels intense and personal, proving that sometimes the simplest sounds can be the most terrifying. And although Halloween wasn't the first slasher, it was the film that put the genre on the map and set a template for the ones that came after. From the mass killer to the lone survival of the final girl, it created tropes that would be repeated and built upon by future horror films. Watching Halloween today it's easy to see how it became the blueprint for so many slashers that followed. And what sets Halloween apart is its approach to horror. Carpenter didn't rely on gore or shock tactics. Instead, he built suspense with pacing, atmosphere, and a masked killer who was terrifying precisely because he was so empty and unknowable. Many late slashers leaned heavily into gore, but Halloween showed that horror could be scary without being graphic. Carpenter's restraint in this film created a sense of dread that many imitators tried to capture but rarely matched. Another huge influence was the character of Laurie Strode, who became the model for the final girl archetype. She's smart, resourceful, and resilient, showing that the last survivor doesn't have to be fearless to be strong. And this archetype became a staple of the genre, making Laurie's character an important part of Halloween's legacy, because without Halloween, I don't think we'd have the same respect for the slasher final girl that we do today. And in a lot of ways, Halloween is a classic because it understands the power of simplicity. Its formula may seem familiar now, but back then it was groundbreaking. And watching it today, it's easy to see why it had such a lasting impact on horror, and why so many films have tried to follow in its footsteps. And Halloween to me has become more than just a movie, it's practically a Halloween tradition. Just like all of these other movies that I watch, horror fans just love to revisit this film, not only because it's a classic, but because it feels like an essential part of the Halloween season. The film captures the essence of Halloween night with trick-or-treaters, quiet neighborhoods, and that feeling that something is lurking in the shadows. For me, watching Halloween October feels like a rite of passage. The movie sets a perfect tone for the season, especially with scenes of darkened houses and empty streets. There's something about Michael Myers prowling through a suburban neighborhood, eerily fitting for Halloween, reminding us that even ordinary places can be terrifying. It taps into that feeling of mystery and danger that Halloween itself embodies. But what's great about Halloween is how timeless it feels. Despite being over 46 years old now, the film itself does not feel outdated. Its simple setting, restrained direction, and iconic music keep it feeling fresh every time I watch it. It's a reminder that great horror doesn't age, it just gets better with time, especially when it becomes a part of people's holiday traditions. Halloween isn't just a movie that I watch every year, it's a symbol of the season. It's a film that embodies the feeling of Halloween night, with all of its lurking shadows and hidden fears. Watching it has become as much a part of Halloween as carving pumpkins or eating candy, and I think that's a testament to its lasting impact. So overall, that's all I have to say about Halloween within this video. I'm just really happy that I had the opportunity to talk about the very first Halloween movie in the franchise today, because I've been wanting to talk about this movie for a very long time. Like, I just think it's going to be so much fun diving to each and every single one of these Halloween movies moving forward, because I absolutely love just going back and reflecting back on all of these films, because they were definitely a really big part of my childhood, but they're also movies that I absolutely love talking about, considering how big of a fan I am of these series. So I really do hope that you guys enjoyed this video today. If you guys, like I mentioned earlier, have anything that you want to get off your chest when it comes to the very first Halloween movie, be sure to let me know down below. Like, let me know your own personal feelings towards it. Let me know how you discovered it, you know, things like that. Just let me know all of that in the comment section down below. And if you guys enjoyed this video, as always, be sure to like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And if you guys want to follow me on social media, be sure to check out my Facebook, my Instagram, my TikTok, and my Twitter. All of that is located in the description below. Be sure to click on that bell for notifications so you guys are notified whenever I drop a video on the channel. But other than that, I hope you guys are having a fantastic day, wherever the day may be, if it's the daytime, the nighttime, or the evening. And I'll see you guys in the next video. As always, peace out.